so blinding. Damn. Okay, so I really want to show you guys the books that I've read recently, as well as the books that I want to read before the year ends, because I haven't been reading much at all, and I really want to get back into that good habit of reading at least like 4 to 5 chapters every single day. I just try to read at least 4 or more chapters a day, because it takes me around like an hour and a half to get through like more than 2 to 3 chapters. I mean, it really depends, because some books have chapters that are like 20 pages or like 30 pages, or like one part of the story, or if the story is like divided into 3 parts, like the first part will just be like one whole chapter that you read, and then part 2 will be like 2 chapters or whatever, kind of like Beloved by Toni Morrison. I really don't like books that are like that, except for Beloved. But yeah, no, it's just, I'm just rambling now. Books that I've read recently, I read Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto, I believe that's her name. It's a beautiful book. I gave it, I think, a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a very simple book on grief. Just a lot of Japanese writers, especially Japanese writers who are women, they write such simple and mundane stories that have so much complexities and meaning in them. Like, if you've read Heaven by Mayako Kawakami, oh my god, it is such a simple coming of age story, but there's so much tragedy written between the lines. It's just beautiful. And I'm actually going to be reading Breasts and Eggs by Mayako Kawakami. I just haven't gotten around to doing it because I only have the digital copy of it, and I really don't like reading digitally. It depends on the book, honestly. Like, I read Heaven on my phone and I loved it. I loved the simple annotations that I made, but I couldn't get around to reading Breasts and Eggs on my phone. What else have I read? Let me check the computer. Oh, I've read some Audre Lorde. I love Audre Lorde so much. I've grown to love her so much. I learned about her pretty recently, and I picked up her memoir and like her collection of essays, and oh my goodness, like what a woman. I love her so much. And I'm currently reading Zami, and I'm like halfway through. I'm really taking my time with that book because like each anecdote that she tells is just, it means so much to me. It's one of those books that stay with you and leave a stain on your brain, and it's a good stain that you don't ever want to come off, and you fear it comes off, kind of like a tattoo that you're afraid of fading, because no one likes faded tattoos unless you regret them. Anyway, the book I'm currently reading right now at this very moment is Educated by Tara Westover. I'm currently on chapter 14, and let me tell you guys, chapter 9 to 14, like, damn, like, it's a lot. Like, this book is a lot. I haven't finished it yet, so I obviously don't know if it gets worse. I hope it gets better. I mean, I'm pretty sure it gets better because this is a memoir, and if it didn't get better, then I don't think she would be writing this memoir, but waiting for the part where it gets better. I also love this cover so much. It's an adorable photo. I don't have like synesthesia, is that what it's called, where you can like see colors and like music or whatever, like the one that Billie Eilish has. But when it comes to like books, especially like the diction and the tone of the author, I imagine a lot of colors. You can't really see it, but the color of this book, I'll probably insert like a picture somewhere, but the color of this book is the color of the story, or the color of how the author speaks. If that makes any sense. If that didn't make any sense and that was so like stupid and pretentious, then my bad. Let's move on to what I want to read. Let me check my Goodreads. Oh, I've recently read White Nights by Dostoevsky, which some of you might know. A very interesting story. I gave it 5 stars, I think, or 4 stars. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. It's like, if you haven't read White Nights by Dostoevsky, like, you just have to. It's one of those stories that you just have to read, and if you prolong reading it and then you read it, you're gonna be like, I should have read this sooner. But yeah, no, it's a great story. You should read it. Okay, books I want to read. I want to reread I really want to reread Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. This is my favorite play of all time. I know you're not really supposed to read plays, but I studied this for school and I loved reading it. There is the full play on YouTube somewhere, and I forgot what the actress's name was, but her version of it was absolutely stunning. She encapsulated Margaret so well. But I think Elizabeth Taylor in the movie Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, like that is how I imagined Margaret when I first read the story without having watched the play or the movie. Okay, I'm gonna go on a movie rant on this. Don't worry, I'm gonna try to make this as spoiler free as possible. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof was adapted into a movie in like the late 50s, and during the late 50s in Hollywood, there was this thing called the Hays Code, and basically it prohibited every filmmaker, director, form of media, it just like banned nudity, queerness, it banned just anything of sexual nature or just explicit nature. There's a lot of themes in this book that kind of break the rules of the Hays Code, so when they adapted it into the movie, I believe it didn't really do the story justice, because there is a pivotal point in this book about one of the characters that if it was portrayed in the movie, it would have made the movie like the best movie ever. But they omitted that part of the story, which kind of sucked. But yeah, but it's really unfortunate. Wait, hold on, I'm not done ranting about this book yet. So the movie is amazing, right? And it could have been a 5 out of 5 movie if they included one of the most pivotal characterizations and moments of this book. But the reason why I kind of don't want them to recreate this movie to include that pivotal plot point is because they don't make movies like they did in the 50s anymore. Like they don't have like that Technicolor like cinematography that they used to have, and they don't have the same type of film anymore, like the same dyes or inks that they use in the film. And I feel like that the cinematography of the 1950s movie is also so important in encapsulating the story that I feel like modern cinematography wouldn't be able to do justice. I don't know anything about film. If I start talking about film, like the technicalities of film on this channel, just know that I am BSing you. I really don't know anything about film. Moving on to the next book. I want to reread The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. You can see I put a lot of tabs on it. And I tabbed a lot of my books, but here's the thing with me and my past self tabbing books. I just used to tab my emotions. Like, reading this book, I tabbed every single time I felt angry. And I don't know why I did that. Like, why would I want to document the moment that I felt anger when I really like this book, when I'm supposed to like this book, when the reason I wanted to read this book is because I wanted to like it? Now all of these like orange tabs are the moments that I didn't like, or not really didn't like, but just felt frustrated while reading, because like Dorian Gray is a very annoying character. Like he's so real, but he's also like, I would not want to be in a room with him. There's a lot of times I felt kind of annoyed. But if your tabbing system is similar in the sense that you tab your emotions and you want to like reread the book and look back into what you felt in that moment, and then it changes, like that'd be cool, but that just can't be me. Picture of Dorian Gray. The next book I want to read is The Collector by John Fowles. My beautiful friend Zaina lent me her copy of this book. This is the Vintage Classics book. I love like vintage classics, like books like these, like the My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. Like the blue vintage cover is so beautiful. I think it's more beautiful than the popular cover, the other one of the lady. They have beautiful covers. Anyway, this book is about like a man stalking a young woman named Miranda, I believe, and it's quite scary. I think this is a thriller. I don't really know what the themes are in this book, but it's pretty creepy. I tried reading it, like I read like 20 pages and I just kind of got spooked, so I never came back to it. But now I think I'm ready to be spooked by this book. Some honorable mentions. Let me go back to my Goodreads. So I've been obsessed with the Muna podcast lately, and they once had Lucy Dacus as a guest on there, and she talked about this book called Heretic by Gianna Cadleck, and it's a memoir, and it looks pretty interesting, so I really want to give it a go. Memoirs are great. What else do I want to read? Oh, I haven't read like romance in a while, and I just want some sappy straight people romance, so I want to read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. And I know my friend Stephanie loves Hannah Grace. I think she has like a signed copy of one of her books, her newer books, and Shout out Stephanie, love you. I know it's gonna be good. Like those like Canva made like book covers that like the guy always looks the same. Like he has that one specific smirk and stuff. Like you know it's gonna be either really really terrible like millennial like Disney adult book, or it's gonna be really really good. Oh my god, the covers. Oh my god, I got caught so off guard. I'm like scrolling through my Goodreads and I saw Anna Wong Twisted Love, like the covers. Like they all just appeared all at once. Where do they find these men? Where do they find these men? Why do their eyes look so, they look so sinister? Can like romance writers like stop doing that? Like people who read those types of books with like those book covers, like and you read them in public or like in a library, I applaud you so much. Like you could never get me pick up a book like that. Like just even just like browsing through a bookstore, like I will lower my gaze. It's not because I'm like, oh my god, they're so sexy. They just look so sinister. They just look like books that you're not supposed to look at. Like I feel a lot of shame, which is a me problem, but I don't want to think of it as a problem at the moment. I think it's a good thing that I'm doing that. Okay, those are all the books that I wanted to talk about in this video. Yuki. So recently, Christine and I watched Ultraman Rising solely because of the Ken Sato edits on TikTok. Okay, we're no better than 14-year-old TikTok editors. What are you gonna do about it? Okay, don't act like some of you don't have Miguel O'Hara saved onto your favorites. Yeah. And I expected there to be context as to why a kids movie would depict Ken Sato in those angles, but I did not get an answer. However, I'm not complaining. I do have a bone to pick though, because why? Okay, why was there a scene where that Tweety bird giant dragon goes on Tokyo Tower, falls, and then as it falls and Ultraman saves it, we get an ASMR style scene of its limb breaking. That's a baby dragon, mind you. And it goes, this is a kid's movie. Also, I don't give a fuck if this is a kid's movie. How did that dad survive? He was on his last leg, literally, in a NICU sort of situation, and then the house gets imploded by the Jabberwocky from Alice in Wonderland. And it like gets cut, it like falls in half from a cliff, and somehow he's Ultraman again. What? Also, is Ultraman like a gene? Like, is it passed down via? What is Ultraman? Like, is it? This movie stressed me out.